Hi and welcome to Pitch MRTV. Pitch MRTV is the very first XR startup pitching event that is happening completely in virtual reality and where 10 startup teams have the chance to pitch their startup for 5 minutes. This is brought to you by MRTV and XR Week, and this event is broadcast now directly to XR Week and also broadcast on MRTV. My name is Sebastian Arndt. I'm the founder of MRTV, and I'm here with my co-host, with Dominic Escoffier, the Eden Europe leader, or the head of Eden Europe. Right, Dominic?
That's correct.
Dominic, thank you so much for being here. And Dominic is an absolute expert in VR, in the VR world. You've been here from the very beginning, right, for VR. Tell us a bit about you and what you've been doing.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. I mean, I have been around in the virtual reality industry for almost a decade now. So because this is VR, I can actually pull up a picture of the first virtual reality headset that I tried, which looks like this, which was a duct-taped prototype of the Oculus Rift. And when Paul Malachy, the founder of Oculus,
give it to you? Okay, wow,
yes,
okay.
He showed me the demo on this device, and even though it was a horrible experience by today's standards, that meeting literally changed my life. So I became a huge enthusiast in virtual reality. I started the Oculus subreddit on reddit.com, which now is the largest unofficial community for virtual reality. I started a startup that we brought through an accelerator program in Silicon Valley. I then came back from the United States and was offered the job as NVIDIA's head of virtual reality for the European region. And during that time, I learned a lot about the pain points of virtual reality, the limitless possibilities that the technology has. And after that little stint, I am now working for Eden, which is a startup from South Africa, and we want to radically change the way that people enjoy VR experiences by making virtual reality much simpler than ever before.
Before we get to the pitches now, I want to understand a bit more what you are working on right now with Eden. So why don't we go over there and you show me what Eden has to offer?
I'm not here to pitch my own product, but just so you understand what VR made easy actually means, this is Eden Snacker. And what we've done with Eden Snacker is we've thought about the pain points that virtual reality has. And there's cables, there's complicated controls, there's batteries running flat, a lot of these things that are happening. And we've solved many of these pain points by first integrating a touchscreen. So if you can use a touchscreen, you can go into a virtual reality experience. And then what we've also done is we've added a handle to the headset, meaning that you can grab the headset, which is a little bit hard in virtual reality to do, but I'm just going to grab it like this because this is VR, cool. And I have all the opportunity. And then once you've selected an app or an experience on the touchscreen, it's as easy as picking up the headset and holding it to your face, and then you can view virtual reality content super easy. So it's essentially a way for the mainstream audiences to get into virtual reality much easier.
Cool.
And by making VR easy, we're envisioning things like here in the back. Retail places, travel agencies, museums, but also the healthcare sector, where the nurses or the gallerists or the people who run the shop, they might not be the most technical people. So they want, as an enterprise solution, and we've made that with Eden Snacker. It's VR made easy.
Wow, this is so cool. So yeah, I can totally see this, very stylish, being in a shop, and they want to show you some kind of feature that they cannot show you in the store, like a car or whatever. Then you simply put it on. Wow, man, I love it. And you know what I love? You just showed VR in VR. You just put on the VR headset in virtual reality. That is really cool.
Only on MRTV.
Yeah, only on MRTV. Fantastic. Yeah, thanks so much, Dominic, for being here, for being here for all the time. It's going to take for 2 hours or so, and we're going to see lots of startups. So thank you so much for your time. Dominic Escoffier, the head of Eden for the European market. And now, without further ado, let's directly get to our pitches, and it starts with the first pitch. Let's go there. And our first startup, it's Fabian from Mixed.Word presenting Viewport. Fabian, your 5 minutes start now.
Very cool. So thank you very much, Sebastian and Dominic. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to pitch here at MRTV. A big fan, by the way. So my name's Fabian from Mixed.Word. So as you can see here behind me, we are really big fans of mixed reality, and we always try to kind of be a little bit ahead of time. That's why we try out all the devices out there, especially in the mixed reality and AR space. You can also see here my colleague Robert, who's traveling with me all the time and trying to figure out what's the best technology, what's coming up, and how can we make good use of it. And this is what Mixed.Word is also all about. So we actually develop a lot of stuff, mostly enterprise tools, but also some entertainment tools, like, for example, the Maps app that's going to come out in a couple of weeks. But our main focus for today is Viewport. And before I actually go into detail about what Viewport is all about, I just wanted to let you know that I am actually joining with my HoloLens 2 at the moment. But Viewport is specifically designed to also work on the Unreal, which I'm currently wearing. And now I want to give you a quick insight of what this is actually looking like. So you will get a live stream of what I actually see here right now. So hi, I wave my hands. And because I'm standing in our office here in Berlin, wearing my Unreal under my HoloLens 2, and I'm streaming through the Unreal into what we call our mixed worlds. So this is actually a set of tools. It's a collaborative tool which allows us to do a lot of things. And one of the things is we picked out Viewport as one of the tools, enterprise tools, that we want to showcase. So I can actually, as you can see here, also interact with everything. One of the cool things about the whole thing is there's my colleague Robert, and he's also with us in this mixed reality in our application, streamed live to you through Spatial. So we are a small startup at the moment, a group of freelancing XR developers, and we always try to figure out what's the best way to do to bring mixed reality from a showcase business towards an enterprise-ready real-world use case business. So we normally don't want to make showcases, but rather make something that really changes how people use mixed reality in everyday and day-to-day basis. So for this, we developed something, and now I have to bring up what's lying here on the table. You can see a couple of sheets of papers, and let me quickly show you what's behind them. So this is actually the concept behind Viewport. So we wanted to address a pressing issue in the maintenance sector, which is currently going on, and want to help especially small and medium-sized businesses who might have struggled already from COVID a lot, but also especially in Germany, are facing challenges because of the demographic change that is going on. So experts are getting older and older, and with Viewport, we want to connect those experts. We want to make sure that the younger experts who are actually servicing in the field can immediately connect, and you can see it here in this little story. So the experts are actually going to their field service, maybe having to maintenance a machinery which might be broken. So what comes in handy is they can pick out the Unreal as soon as they are facing any issue and connect to all their fellow experts which are sitting at home, and in that case being able to guide them through a video conference, but also annotate those different parts of the machinery, because they know exactly what to do and they can help out the ones. And because they can wear the Unreal glasses, they can work hands-free completely and are distracted and will be able to work very much faster than ever before because they get help from their fellow colleagues anywhere in the world and anytime in the world. yeah, here are just some of the capabilities that we already built in. So Viewport consists of audio-video sharing. It's a shared experience. We can move in any kind of objects, annotations. It works over 5G and is really focused on the fact that you can achieve maintenance services much, much easier than before. So for the time schedule, we will probably release Viewport by the end of the year. We will work very closely together with a lot of beta testers in the field of maintenance here in our region. We are sitting in Berlin, in Germany, by the way. And then later we will roll out the product to the broader public and also go international with the whole thing. Yeah, so that's the pitch. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen. Here, by the way, is also another picture of the Maps application that we are going to publish. And thank you so much again for having us. Thank you so much for watching this pitch. Hello to the whole MRTV community. I hope you will also get in touch with us. There we have a few information on where you can reach us. Mixed.Word is the homepage. We are on LinkedIn, Twitter, and we are very frequently adding videos to also our YouTube channel. And there's Robert. Cool.
Wow!
Perfect.
Wow! So cool!
So back to you.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked right now. I'm shocked. So this is the first pitch event in VR, and this was the first pitch, and it was made in AR with a guy wearing a HoloLens and Unreal at the same time. I think this is crazy. Dominic, what do you say to this?
I love the technical demonstration. I mean, you guys are obviously not only interested in the immersive technology, but also interested in making a very complicated demo happen with 2 different devices streaming through spatial, which Sebastian's recording. So I do appreciate the technical effort that you put into this demo. And now that we can see the live stream without the HoloLens over it, it becomes a little bit more clear even. My big question is the business model. You said small, medium enterprises, SMEs, for remote maintenance. The part that I don't really understand is essentially for a maintenance thing that one person does today, you need 2 people, right? One expert sitting somewhere and then the other person going out into the field. How are you going to sell that to enterprises? Like, hey, we need now 2 people instead of 1 person.
So this is usually always the case in all the businesses that we've been talking to. So we are pretty good connected in this specific field, especially the smaller businesses here around in the region. So the ones that actually come to your house to fix your heating, for example. And what they normally do is they try to get also the attention of the younger people, of the trainees, so to say, who want to be the next engineers in the field. And normally they have to train them for about 3 years before they can go out to the customers unattended without, for example, someone being with them. And this will change with a tool like Viewport, because now they can actually go out into the field to the clients much earlier, because there's someone in the back office who can support them remotely. So this is how it's actually going to happen. So it will actually also assist in the overall training and reduce the overall training time of the trainees. And at the same time, there are many of the older experts who might not go out so often anymore and might just do some work in the back offices. And this will help them to also get their knowledge on the street again and to the younger fellows, and to assist them directly with what they have learned over the past 30 to 40 years in their work experience.
All right. Yep.
Okay.
Are you finished with the question? Or
no, I'm not quite. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking a little bit about this.
Okay.
because essentially what you're selling to a corporate is they are saving money by not sending the experts into the field, but actually sending the younglings into the field and then having the experts' time managed more efficiently by beaming them in remotely. That's kind of your sales pitch.
That's one of the points that we have. So we did our homework, to be honest, with talking to many of them. That's one of the approaches that we normally have. We don't develop stuff into the blue, but we always think about who's going to use it. And while we've been talking to lots of those companies, those were the issues that they brought up, and then we came up with this kind of solution, which seems to be the thing that very many of them are currently looking for, which is pretty cool for us. So I hope that the actual sales pitch will probably, hopefully, come from the first customers that we have, so that they can say, wow, that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, actually, I do believe this makes sense. So I'm also consulting companies, and I recently had a company here in the area, a big company who's doing like caps for sanitizers, and they had a new machine. And they couldn't run this new machine because the expert was in Denmark. But during lockdown, that expert, he couldn't come to Germany to start the machine. So actually, they were looking for this kind of solution where they could just stand in front of that machine and the expert would beam into their view. That's basically what you're selling here, right?
Yes, exactly. That's also one of the things. There's also another aspect to the software itself. It is I couldn't show this right now, but the documentary part, because we are actually also enable the people to save the steps that they did before and then replay it later on. So this is kind of a let's say mixed reality replay recording tool, which also helps them to do the step-by-step instructions and then later on replay them.
Right, that makes sense.
The same machine. Yeah.
So what is your business model? Is it like a monthly subscription model for it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We even plan to start with a free tier, so that they can actually use it for free for a limited amount of minutes. And then later on, they can actually book packages. And with each package, you get more and more functionality of the application, so that you can actually start out trying it out for free, then having a small fee that you pay monthly, and then you add more and more modules to the software if you need them. And then you have to pay more in the end. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dominic, any last question, or are you good with this?
This actually, yeah, I've thought about it a little bit. This actually makes a lot of sense. When you mentioned that you could pre-record the instructions and then replay them when the youngling goes out into the field, that for me is a much more scalable approach than always having to need an expert in the back that beams in. But I do understand the business implications. I would probably give you the feedback to work a little bit more on the business model itself. Like, what is the subscription price? When you said the sales pitch is going to come from our first customer, well, how are you going to sell to that first customer if they are going to tell you about your sales? So that would be my only feedback. But apart from that, thanks for this technical demo. It was really nice.
It was amazing. Thank you so much, Fabian.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And thanks for having us. Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
And our next startup is Nomada Omnimotion. And Jaime, you have 5 minutes to introduce your startup. And here we go. Your 5 minutes start now.
Okay, so this is the first space that I experienced in VR. That was back in 2016, I think, when I was studying architecture. So back then I really liked to 3D model my own projects. And because I get to use this DK2, I just could dive into this and it was amazing. So I came up with this project because I think, okay, this experience is amazing, but in order to experience these spaces, you really need to walk free through them. So I get to know many people that have been in a VR experience, but they think that it's a disappointing experience. And it's not always because of that, but mostly because of the artificial displacement and the limited space that goes to motion sickness. So what Nomada wants to do is to make more VR satisfactory experience, and we try to do that with an intuitive displacement and an infinite space. So for that, we develop an omnidirectional treadmill, which allows the user to walk in a very natural way. And this is key to re-walk like if you are in the street. And this actually reposition yourself. So it's a infinite space and you can walk in any direction. So we have been developing this for, I would say, a bit more than 3 years, 3.5 years. And we have an MVP, a prototype ready to industrialize. I start this with a concept like this one. And I get into an incubator, accelerator. Then I get a residency in a mechanical engineering university. And I get some grants from the Basque Country in the north of Spain. So our team, Jose Maria, we can be here, but he's an industrial engineer with more than 15 years experience as entrepreneur and business developer. And myself, I am the CTO. I'm the one that makes the prototypes. And also, when we get into the Space incubator, we get a partner with Innovae, which are Pablo and Mickey. These ones are like the pioneering company in Spain making VR and AR solutions, and they have more than 16 years experience in this VR and AR, and also more than 350 successful projects, and they develop our tracking and reposition solution. So, well, I'm sure that you all know all these companies, but as you see, there is many people there trying to look for an answer in this locomotion in VR. So with rollers, with exoskeleton, well, the better well-known Virtuix Omni or Catwalk with their sliding platforms, or as us that we use conveyor belt as Infinadec, that is much well-known. So the business model will be divided in 2 phases. Like the first phase, that we really want to gain notoriety, because people, even if they are or they have developed VR projects, they may don't know that this kind of device exists. So we just want to sell the whole project to early adopters, and we identify those as industrial training, engineering, and museums, because they are capable to pay the money that is needed to these kind of devices, and it's of course B2B. So the second phase, when we are able to produce these devices like more units to lower the price, so we can enter into real estate, gaming, and fitness, and we will just sell the product, so the machine itself. And this is really key to lower the price. So for the moment, we can sell this device for around 40, 50K, but it's possible to just reach like this 10,000 key price, where I think many VR arcades or fitness stations can get it, or even the consumer for that money. I think it will be able. And that's it.
The 5, oh, perfect. Perfect time. just after the 5 minutes are over. Nice. Well,
right
very
on
well
time.
timed. Right on time, exactly. So, Dominic, your first question.
My first question would be, I didn't really understand the difference between you and the competition that you have. So you mentioned briefly that there's others like Infinadec or Virtuix Omni. but I didn't really understand what your unique selling proposition is, your USP.
Yes, that was really brief. So there in the competition, I show you like all the kind of technology to move yourself in VR apart from, well, the touch controllers. But we really think that the conveyor, so the omnidirectional treadmill with conveyor belts is the most reliable and actually the one that really gives you that sense of reality. And actually we are very similar to Infinadec. Not really, the mechanic is a bit different, but the sense, I would say I have not tried Infinadec, but I have tried mine, and it's really like walking the street. So
Okay, nice.
I know there is another competition.
Is it possible for you to pull up that slide again with the competition?
Yes.
This is maybe just a feedback for your slide. I think the slide would work so much better if the tick boxes, the check boxes would be green and the X's would be red, so that you can see at one glance that yours has all the options available. It might be spatial, the platform that we're running this in, but it kind of diminishes a bit into the background. So this slide especially, I felt, was a lot of information, and you kind of glanced over it. That was my main feedback, but I do understand better now. Thank you.
Yes.
All right,
well,
cool.
Yes, you are right. You're right.
Yeah, but anyways, Jaime, I also have a question for you. And the question is, what is the main difference between you and Infinadec? Because they are also targeting business and they have a very similar technology. So why would you say, okay, go to us and don't go to Infinadec?
Well, actually, I think Infinadec and our company, so the product is mainly the same, but we are in Europe and they are in the States. And actually, something that I want to make different is that Infinadec use kind of a tracker system, and we want to do it with artificial vision. So you don't really need to put these Vive trackers or whatever. But I really think that they will, in the future, make that as well. So we are competitors. I think we will be a little bit less expensive.
You will be you will be less expensive or more expensive?
Yes, expensive.
More expensive.
But no, yes, expensive.
I don't get it. More expensive, less. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Great. Yeah. So how expensive do you expect this to be?
So if you want this machine tomorrow, it's going around 40, 50Ks.
Okay.
But if we develop it for maybe 2-3 years, it could reach easily 15,000. So that will get it into the VR arcades and so on.
Okay, perfect. And so for the Infinadec,
sounds like a lot on the first glance, right? Sounds like a lot. But if you compare this to other systems like Hologate, for example, they're selling a system that is even more expensive than the first price you just mentioned. So their system sells for upwards of 50,000. And I mean, if people can put a lot of hours on this and resell the time on it as tickets, sure, why not?
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah,
that's the key.
Cool. Very nice. So for Infinadec, one problem is the start of the motion, because the start of the motion can feel a bit unnatural. How is it with your system? Last question and very short answer.
Yes, we try to tackle that problem, making the surface bigger, because I think they have kind of 120 centimeters and we have 150 for our next prototype. So then you can move free and then the machine recenters yourself. And that's
perfect.
How we plan to tackle it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your pitch. There was the question and answer section. And yeah, Jaime, thank you so much. This was Nomada Omnimotion. And all the information are down in the description of this video to connect with you.
Okay, thank you.
And the next team, it's Odette Daniel for DecaGear. Odette, your 5-minute start now. Go for it.
Okay, hi, Sebastian. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. My name is Odette Daniel, and I am a director and investor in Megadoto simulation games. I'll guide you through or give you a more intimate look into our company and our line of products. So Megadoto is a developer, designer, and producer of high-fidelity VR platforms. We consist a team of about 30 engineers. Here you could see them and you could get some idea about the vibes in the company. We are a multidisciplinary team of engineers. It means that we combine talents from very different areas in order to create the solutions and platform that we are developing, and it's a hard work. So we have industrialized designers to make the plastics and the controllers and all the physical, mechanics, get all the electronic components sit together. We have software engineers in the space of AI, software development, web development, etc. We have PCB and electric engineers, electronic engineers. So it's a really diverse team, and all of us are sitting in various places in the world and communicating and collaborating online. So I can show you, here's our industrial designer. Here's our lab. You could see some of our lab where we test our PCB stuff. Here's an interesting picture. Here we see our sound module, a sound development module, and we see a mic. But the nice thing about this is the guy that operates it actually sits in Russia, and this is located in Bangkok. So remotely access the hardware, could test it, listen to it, and modify it and continue its development. So yeah, this is how we work in a nutshell. So yeah, let's talk about virtual reality a bit. So what is our vision? Our vision is that virtual reality is a type of field that a type of product that the user never has enough of. It's always not enough. The users always want more immersivity. They want more usability. They want a lower price tag to the product. And this is the game that all of the producers of the VR, this is the game that we are in. We want to develop more immersive systems. We want to make them way more usable, and we want to take prices down. This is our strategy. I want to introduce you, let's talk about immersivity and see what, how do we, deal with how do we provide a higher immersivity in this space? What do we do? So first of all, field of view. This is one of the very important components in immersivity. And we have a Fraser lens with 114 FOV. Here you could see, actually, it's here. This is the latest design. Oh, how is this working here? Let's bring it closer and bigger. Okay, this is our latest design of our lenses. This is a Fresnel lens. This is done by our Taiwanese manufacturer. It's really a piece of art. And this is the first component that we when we talk about immersivity. Then we have the cordless, the Wi-Fi connectivity via our built-in AirLink. It's a built-in module in our headset. Although we are a PC VR, we are a Wi-Fi cordless system. We believe that the wire affects the immersivity tremendously. It limits your mobility. You can play your headset just in front of your desk. With a wireless solution, you have more the freedom and the space to move wherever you want in your house or your room, and it just frees your head. It puts less weight on your neck, and it improves the experience tremendously. Another thing that we have that's quite unique right now to be integrated as a built-in module in our headset is a full facial tracking sensors, which is they're built in, and they give us a full facial tracking, lip, eye, and facial expressions. We have over 60 or 70, I think, expressions that are programmed to the different expressions that can be programmed to the system. We have the Qualcomm XR2 chipset. We are based on the Qualcomm XR2 chipset. Of course, it has. We are again a PC VR, so we are dependent on our external module to render the games, but for the Wi-Fi connectivity, for our general management interface, or the ecosystem, as we call it, the operating system, we run it on the XR2 chipset.
30 seconds
then
left.
We have the Okay, then we have the DecaMove. DecaMove is a unique device that has been introduced to the market lately, and it actually frees your head and hand in your locomotion movement. There is a lot of reviews and coverage about this device online, so you could look at it. So yeah, this is state-of-the-art controllers. Of course, they have a haptic module, a pressure sensor, and a full finger tracking system. So this is basically a general overview about our platform.
Thank you, Oded. And I totally understand that it's not enough time to tell us all about. It's like it's a very short format here. So Dominic, do you have a question for Oded?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm part of the Reddit community, and when you guys announced your headset, Reddit was on fire. Let's just put it that way. So I'm very happy that I get to have 5 minutes to ask you some questions. Obviously, the first one is, when will it be available and how much will it cost?
Okay, that's a very good question. Today, we are facing a very serious challenge in the market where there is a big shortage of electronic components in the semiconductor. It's not something that is specific for us. It's something that is, widely felt in many different industries. Some people are blaming the COVID situation that has disrupted supply chain. But the lead times, let's put it this way, the lead times are extended more and more. And for the pricing, we are also standing now we see inflationary pressure in all of those basic components going up. Some of the components went up over 50% in the last 2 months. So it's really hard to say right now what's going to be the commercial price, but we are optimistic that we are going to be maybe 10, maybe 20% more than our initial price that we suggested. And we know that the bloggers edition, the device that we're going to send the bloggers to review, like the DecaMove, is going to be released in the next 2 to 3 months. This is when the final prototype is going to be available for review. But when mass production, we still don't know. We still don't have an accurate figure.
Okay, but do you have any idea? Is it going to happen in this year, or is it going to happen in next year for sure? Do you have any kind of message to the community who are watching this right now?
Well, we are working hard, and we hope to see it this year. Yes, we hope to see it until the end of this year. But definitely what is important for us right now, what we are seeing in our heads is really releasing the bloggers edition as fast as possible, that the community will get a much more accurate idea about what this headset is all about, and how does it work. So we are really eager right now and focused to finish the bloggers edition.
Okay,
is that also going to be a developers edition, or just for bloggers? Is it mainly a marketing exercise, or is it also meant for developers to create content and bring content to the ecosystem?
Well, we call it Bloggers Edition. We want the bloggers to review it. And the DecaMove is a standard VR headset that works with all of Steam VR games. So, there are specific features in it that should be integrated in some games. And we are talking with the most, let's call it, obvious games to utilize those features, or publishers. And yes, we are doing it. And we don't need the headset to do it. We can just do it through our software SDK. But our hardware, it's really meant, the Bloggers Edition, it is meant mainly to be shipped to bloggers to review.
Okay, good. That's good news for me. Since I seem to be one of those vloggers.
Bad news for me though, because
you can come over to my place, man. It's okay.
we're at Eden. We're obviously looking at our next evolution, and at the moment we're evaluating all six of mobile headsets, and we have the full range there, but it's missing a DecaGear. So if you ever have any news on developer editions, I think your viewers would love that, and our team at Eden would also appreciate that.
Yep. We'll so Danny.
Whenever it's ready, you're gonna get one unit.
We're so looking forward to it, Odette. So so in 2 or 3 months it's going to happen, right? The Blogger edition.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Really looking forward to this. Do you have one more question, Dominic? We have time for one more.
I would just love to learn a little bit more about Move, because what you just said about developers, right? If you have a specific device that is adding something to other virtual reality experience, which you are trying to do, right? Usually developers need to figure it out. They need to try it out. And there are so many examples of that failing. The Kinect, the PlayStation Move controllers, many other things like even Razer Hydras. You probably remember them, Sebastian, from back in the days.
Yep,
many of those devices, they were great. Like, okay, maybe not great, but they were good for their time, but they were lacking content. And so nobody used them. So consumers didn't have an incentive to buy it. And so it's not really a question. It's probably more a feedback for you that I would love to see some developers trying out what they can like create with something like the Deca Move.
Well, my take on this is that Deca Move, really the features that it has that actually extends is expressed in the gameplay is the facial tracking as well as the Deca Move. Those are the two components, that are really innovative with Deca. So with the Deca Move, it's fluently integrated to most of the games. So there we don't have a problem, although there are many special features that developers can take advantage of in order to integrate it even better inside the games. But that works. For the facial expressions, what we think that facial expression is something that is in very high demand in the space of VR. So it's not something very niche or unique to us. It's going to be something that is widely accepted by everyone or by many other publishers. So we do believe that our unique features are going to, get a better expression than the Kinect or other devices that failed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Odette, so much for your pitch. Amazing. And for everyone who would like to get in touch with Odette and DecaGear, all the links are down in the description. And now we got to go to the next team. Thank you so much, Odette.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. See you next time. And the next team to present, it's Arthur with Enjoy VRide. Your 5 minutes start now.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. I want to welcome you all. You can call me A, and this time I'm without my face, but another me with the face. We're going to present you why are we here. So let's go.
This is older than the other one. There are millions YouTube channels. Why there are only few new VR videos per month? This is not VR, this is flat 360 video. Found something? No, but my spies told me you have new videos. Dude, there's still a lot of work and I need support to get it online. Shouldn't supposed to tell. Sorry for him? Or not really? Oh. Are you ready to lose time searching for VR content? Do you like when platform is serving you flat 360 videos and mark them as VR? Enjoy VRide with full 3D 360 8K videos.
So this is the introduction. As a user of virtual reality, I enjoyed very much the video experiences that was served by Oculus, by YouTube. But it turns out that after a week, I ran out of the videos to watch. So the idea is to create a channel that will be uploading regular, high-quality VR content in 8K for users, ultimately for free. But I will just present you a short presentation that it is not so easy. That's why I'm pitching you the idea for some maybe small support if you are willing to see. So Enjoy VRide will be a generally YouTube channel. There are a few challenges and risks involved in recording the 3D VR videos. So the weather conditions, this year I wasn't able to record mostly anything until today in May, because it is raining all the time in my area. Then we have the hardware, software, and camera problems. The camera are not yet like fully developed. It's often crashing the Adobe software because of the amount of data that is needed. For example, 1 hour of video is taking around 700 gigabytes of free space on the disk, and additionally, to create 10-minute video in Adobe from the ProRes, so the highest quality before the compression, it takes more than 1 day just to create this 10-minute file. Another thing is funding. It turns out it's not cheap. all the hardware that is needed. So I was thinking maybe I could hire a company just to start to have more materials for the channel. I thought, okay, maybe I will hire the company and they will help me, because 10-minute video, how much can it cost? So it turns out the minimum cost from the company side, it's minimum €3,500 for 10-minute video without any
You have 1 minute left.
Without any voiceover. So the other things is regular job. We're mostly in the beginning, we're doing it on top things. So I'm gonna start everything by myself, and I'm gonna launch the Kickstarter campaign, and especially for you, the early access to the teaser in full VR is already available at this address. Or if you want to do it quicker, you can just type enjoyvride.com and you will find it there.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. Let's get to the questions and answers section. Wait a moment, okay. Yeah, so I'm a YouTuber as well. So I can tell you, this is a tough job. This is a very tough job, and Don't do it. No, I don't want to say don't do it. But I think in general, it's good to have it's a good idea to have like a 360 real VR video channel. However, what we did not understand from your presentation is what kind of videos are you making? Is it adult content, or what are you doing?
So for the idea is to build a little bit mystery, so users can be more drawn, so they would like to know, so they can subscribe now before they know it, and then so they can unsubscribe if they don't like it.
Yeah, that's the general concept of YouTube channels.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
What kind of videos? What kind of videos do you want to make?
The answer is in the teaser, which is available. So you will go see the teaser and you will know everything.
Okay. Dominic, do you have any questions?
I mean, the best YouTube, the best virtual reality content for me is always either it's dangerous, so I can't do it in real life. It's inaccessible, so it's like Vatican City where I can't go in the normal life. But all those experiences that I cannot have in real life, right? Because they're too dangerous, they are too hard to do, they are too taxing, or they are too far away. And so, I mean,
exactly. This is the idea. If you look at the back, there is some hint behind you on the black wall.
Okay.
There are some hints on the other side. The photo is also a hint of what is planned to be included in the channel.
Car rides. Okay.
Yeah. So cars,
cool.
and some destinations.
Cars and girls.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to subscribe. Okay, Arthur. Perfect. Thank you. Enjoy VRide, your channel coming up soon on YouTube. And I'm going to put all your links down in the description, and I'm going to totally subscribe and hit on the bell button.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sebastian. And I want to congratulate on your channel, because there's a lot of information that I was learning from your channel.
Okay.
Thank you, man. Help develop this project also.
Perfect. I'm very happy about it. Thank you, Arthur. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Ciao.
And our next team, it's Kevin. And Kevin is going to pitch Lanex VR. Your 5 minutes, Kevin.
All right. Hi, I'm Kevin Maturi. I'm the founder of Lanex VR. With Lanex VR, we are creating the world's best educational virtual reality experience tailored specifically for language learning. So a bit of the background on how this came to be. My family is from Kenya, but I was raised in the US. So I actually learned English as a second language in elementary school. Fittingly, as a teenager, I became obsessed with learning Spanish and then Japanese. But I found as much as I hit the books and flashcards, it was only when I was able to practice with other serious learners or native speakers that I really felt the most improvement and rise in confidence. Fast forward a decade, and VR is here and presents a unique opportunity to be able to dive into language immersion from wherever you are on the globe. But existing solutions just do not deliver a good experience. Starting with the VR options. Now, you could always just open VR chat or Rec Room and find language exchange rooms and communities there, but you'll find that they are unfocused. It's hard to find the right rooms, especially for specific languages, and it's just a low quality experience all around. Now, you have the option of using something like Discord, but they are also kind of hard to find good communities. And let's face it, text chat is archaic, and group voice chat can be chaos or isolating, depending on who's dominating that conversation. You could get an online tutor, but that could get boring, and there's no options outside of the tutor schedule. Now, we want to fix all that with Lanex VR. Finally, we want to offer a focus space for VR language exchange where you can join public exchange rooms that are themed and have interactive elements to facilitate discussion. Or you can find a user whose profile you like, invite them for a one-on-one chat. But finally, the magic that really will set Lanex VR apart is the teacher-based communities. Educators can create communities in which users subscribe for obviously group classes, but you can also create level-based private exchange rooms where you can match students together based on their level, and allow them to kind of meet up and practice wherever in this more premium setting. Could we show that demo? So
there you go.
if we can play this demo. Sorry. So you can see here a bit of the potential of a VR VR classroom. So obviously you can use 3D models, you can use all types of interactive quizzes, etc. People can spectate classrooms. So that is all part of the offering. Now, this is a great opportunity for educators where based on their effectiveness reaching students, they can be very well compensated. And students can also have their pick of the best reviewed teachers across the globe. And back to my slides. Sorry.
I can help you. Whoop.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, perfect.
So, in a post-pandemic world, VR has a unique opportunity in education to completely revolutionize this landscape. Perhaps in some ways, even in a more rewarding way than base reality. So be a part of this revolution and join our beta program if you're a teacher or you want to use as a beta tester. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. That was a great pitch,
you want to
Kevin.
start?
I was really enjoying this pitch. Thank you, Kevin. That was great.
Thank you.
The one thing, and I'm totally with you. I believe that essentially beaming into a classroom and being able to get taught languages is a great thing to do. Here comes one caveat, though. I recently moved to Amsterdam, where we started our European office for Eden, and I learned Dutch. So I am originally from Germany, which you might have already heard. And my big problem was during the pandemic, when people were wearing masks, I could not see their mouths. And thus I had a harder time understanding people and learning the language, because the visual input that you get when you look at somebody's face and their mouth moving is pretty important, I found, for understanding and learning a language. So my question would be, how do you solve that problem in virtual reality where I don't see the person's face? Or the mouth moving.
Yes, that does present a challenge. Now, we haven't really focused on tackling that in specifics for Lanex VR, but I can imagine we could, obviously, as technology improves, that we would use some kind of facial tracking, as we've seen that technology be more available. But in the short term, obviously, if it was a big deal, you could always have a video feed. If the teacher wanted to perhaps demonstrate speaking certain words, etc.
Mm-hmm. Great answer.
Okay, cool. Kevin, also from me, that was a very nice pitch. Really used your 5 minutes to the best extent. Congratulations. I'm into language learning as well. And I also taught Chinese in virtual reality already. It works perfectly. I really think you're onto something. So what I'm wondering here, how much did you already program? You showed us this demo. Is this like a working prototype of your classroom setting?
We are still in the development phases. So that's why we're looking for beta testers to figure out what we should really focus on for our version 1, because we have a lot of ideas. And what you saw here, those were some of the 3D demos that we've kind of worked on already, which have kind of dummy characters in it, obviously.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it. They looked a bit like Lego figures. They looked pretty sweet.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering, is it for you important now to build that software? Because you could also use a third-party software where already everything has been done. Like you could use, for example, Rec Room. I use Rec Room, for example. You could use Engage. You could use AltSpace. Is it more important for you to build the community, or is it more important for you to build the software?
Yes. So like you, I'm an avid language learner as well, and I've used all of those ways, and I've just found them to be quite lacking as to what you could find in a focused language and especially education-based focused application where you could really optimize for a lot of different things, sort of like matchmaking as well. You brought up VR chat or Rec Room. It wasn't until I watched your videos that I found out Rec Room had communities. So that's also a difficulty. So we can make that experience really perfect for language learners and teachers. We also want to try our hand at empowering teachers. Like, can we have teachers be the next rock stars, like streamers? If you have a really great teacher, could people subscribe to them and really
good idea. I like it.
Push this, yeah.
Okay. That's a cool idea. What's the business model? Is it like a platform model where the teachers earn a certain amount and you get like 10% of whatever they earn, or of what the pupils pay? Or tell us a bit about the business model in like 30 seconds. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So we are focused on the business model being, you with the teaching communities. So obviously we would take a percentage of what the students, of what the teachers would get with each student that subscribes, and how long they, depending on the packages that they subscribe to, etc.
Okay.
Additionally, in these language exchange rooms, the public rooms, we are not just making it willy-nilly where anybody can, sorry.
No, it's okay. The 5 minutes over, but it's okay. Probably you have 10 more seconds to tell us what you want now.
Oh, okay. So as I said, we're looking for beta. We want people to visit the website, lanexvr.com, lanexvr.app, and register to be invited to our beta program. And also anybody who's interested in this, we'd always love to talk to investors, etc.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and sorry for my alarm not stopping.
I thought you were putting some pressure onto him.
Want to rush?
No. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much,
Kevin. Great pitch.
Kevin.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, and the next pitch, it's Kalle Max, and Kalle Max is going to pitch TunerMax. Kalle, it is your 5 minutes starting now.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Kalle Max from Berlin in Germany, and I founded the company TunerMax last year. It's a VR game company, and if you think this logo looks a bit like the 1990s, you're absolutely right, because I thought of this name and the logo in 1990 when I made my first game, Magic, for the Commodore Amiga. And released it with a publisher who went out of business after they only sold 3 copies of the game. So that was a huge shock for me. And I thought, oh no, I cannot make games as a living, there's no money. I have to get a proper job, but I still loved computers and computer graphics very much. And so I became a media designer and worked in visual effects for commercials and music videos. And in both of these, you have to be very creative, very fast, and have to do a lot of stuff in a very short time and have to make everything look as expensive as you can with as little money as you have, And so that was really interesting and taught me a lot. And at some point I thought, well, I would like to tell my own stories. Maybe this workflow can also be used for feature films and longer films. And then I started making documentaries, for example, Wonderful World 3D, which I like very much. It's a stereoscopic animal documentary, basically. And this part of my career got to its climax, I guess, when I made the film Our Universe 3D, which was released by Universal Pictures worldwide. And it's a space documentary which consists only of computer-generated graphics. And the crazy thing is that I wrote and directed this film, but I also did most of these graphics with just one partner, my friend Hanu. And this showed us that our workflow of doing big stuff, very, very fast and with small means can also be working in other dimensions, And yeah, so I was basically happy making these films until something very big happened, and that was virtual reality, because I'm also a huge gaming fan and have been all the time. And so my friend Tom, who also works in visual effects and worked on a lot of big Marvel films and Terminator films and stuff like this, showed me his HTC Vive, and I thought, wow, this is crazy. This is like the holodeck from Star Trek. I mean, look around where we are. It's awesome, right? And so we said, we have to try this ourselves. We know nothing about making games, but for example, fortunately, my friend Hanu from our Universe 3D, he had some experience already in Unity. And we said, okay, guys, let's do it. And then we worked for 2 years on our first game, Rainbow Reactor. And basically this there is Dottie, our mascot from the game, the flying robot. She's helping me be a little bit less nervous in here. So we made this game and released it without knowing anything about publishing or marketing or anything like that. And so the game wasn't a real success or anything in the beginning. We didn't make a lot of money, but the VR community was so great, and the people who bought the game really loved it and said, wow, the graphics are so polished and it's so much fun and so on. So we were encouraged to go on and improve the game for the course of 2 years. And of course, we also contacted Oculus because we thought it would be great to have the game on the Oculus Quest. And they said, yeah, wow, it's a nice game, but people are a bit tired in VR of these small titles, that have a small playtime and so on. And can't you make this game a bit bigger and add a bit of story and so on? And we thought, well, okay, yeah, that's great because we already have thought of a lot of backstory stuff for Rainbow Reactor, which we didn't have time to implement. So then we made Rainbow Reactor Fusion, which is basically finished now. It will now go through a couple of months of testing, and then it will release in the fall on Oculus Quest and on Steam. And we are, of course, super excited about this. But what was even more exciting than the game itself was how much we learned, from working with Oculus, because obviously they are a huge VR company and they know a lot of things which we learned. And so this was really, really helpful for us. And now the next super exciting thing that happened was that we got German games funding for our next game, Snow Scout, which is basically a skiing adventure. And this is fantastic because when I started out as a teenager and made magic, nobody cared for games really. And now there's even funding. And it's so awesome because your own budget basically gets doubled by the state, and this in combination with our way of working where we make big things with little means seems like a super great combination, so that we thought, why not become a games publisher also, so that we release VR games by other developers, because at the moment it's still that most teams are very small or even solo developers, and they have to bear the brunt basically of discovering what VR games can be like actually, because the big companies do not dare to invest a lot yet, and so we think these are great starting steps. And we are super excited and hope we can get to know more people who will want to join us and maybe ask us how they can improve their games or how we can help them release their game, or of course join us in making new games. Snow Scout will hopefully be big, but still it's a very small game budget-wise, so there can be even bigger things in the future, hopefully. And this is why I'm here. Yeah, and I guess this was probably my 5 minutes of fame.
Yes, it was. Thank you. Woo-hoo. Thank you, Kalamax.
Nice. Oh, this is great. I didn't know that.
Wow. Virtual reality. Woo. Yeah, okay, cool. Kalle, great to have you here, and thank you so much for pitching Tuner Max. You want to become a VR games publisher, basically, right?
Yes.
This is the okay, cool. So, what can you, as a publisher, as a VR publisher, what kind of problem can you solve?
yeah, the thing is, we had all these beginners mistakes that we made when we started out. And of course, when you know how it's done, and if you've turned like the successlessness of the beginning into a success, then you have, of course, a lot of possibility to help others, which is exactly what we would have liked in the beginning. So yeah, this is what we hope to do for others now as well.
Then I have a question. What did you learn from Rainbow Reactor to Rainbow Reactor Fusion that you're doing vastly different this time?
Well, the thing is that we really had no clue about, for example, social media strategies or how to invest money into advertising, so you just not burn the money, but really actually get results from it and stuff like this. And there are a lot of tutorials, even on YouTube from GDC and things like that, where you learn this about traditional flat indie games, but the interesting thing was that we found in VR, everything is a little bit different, and we tried these things that were told there, but they didn't really work. And then we found out, okay, also these numbers that they are saying, they don't really apply for VR. And yeah, now we got our own sets of numbers, basically. And this is what we can improve now to hopefully make Rainbow Reactor Fusion successful from the start and not have a fumbled start like we had with Rainbow Reactor.
Okay, cool. How about you tell us 30 seconds about Snow Scout, your new game after Rainbow Reactor Fusion?
Yes, so Snow Scout is an adventure game set in the snow, where you are a snow scout, which is basically like a mountain ranger, but not for military or anything, but just you manage a ski resort basically, so you have to make sure that it's safe for the people. The resort is still deserted, and you have to prepare it for opening. Also a little bit because of Corona, that now everything opens up again and the people come to the ski resort. And yeah, we hope this will be a nice new experience that is not too violent, but of course some things happen that are a little bit dangerous. And so you have to, learn everything, use everything that you learned in the Snow Scouts to be successful, a little bit like TunerMax itself.
Okay, cool. Is it going to launch on Quest or Steam, or what is it for?
Well, primarily we are developing it for PC because it's supposed to be a really nice big game. But of course, we also want to put it on Quest 2. But we don't know if when it comes out next year, if we will be able to release it only on Quest 2. Because if we have to release it for Quest 1, we have to make so much sacrifices that it will not work anymore, in our opinion, because it's more for PC power, basically.
That actually leads me to a last short question. With Rainbow Reactor Fusion, that's launching pretty soon, right? Do you have store access on Oculus with this one already?
It will launch on the Oculus Store in the fall.
Okay, because that is kind of a hurdle for many developers, is actually getting their game onto the Oculus Store. So you've solved that already.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. We applied with Rainbow Reactor 1 and they said, well, okay, it's nice, but it's not big enough for us. Can't you make it bigger? And this is what Rainbow Reactor Fusion is now. And this is also, very important learning, of course, as a VR developer and publisher, because then you know how it's done, basically. You know what I mean?
Wow. Congratulations, that's incredible. Congrats to getting on the store. So, yes, exactly. Woo! So, if I am a game developer and I need some help, can I also be out of Germany? Because you have all the experience now with the German getting the funding. But if I'm in, let's say I'm in Italy, can I still work together with you?
Yes, especially for European countries, it should not be a problem at all as far as the German funding is concerned. But not everything has to be funded. We can also give advice, even for free, what can be improved about the games. But if people don't want to launch themselves, because also getting into Steam and the Oculus Store and all these backends, it's a lot of work to get into it. And since we've already done it's easy for us now, and we thought, why not help others with this?
Great, that's a really cool idea. So TunerMax, thank you so much, Kalle, and for all the developers, for all the budding developers who want to know how to get in the Quest store, get in touch with Kalle Max. All the contact information are down in the description of this video. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kalle.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. right, and for our next startup, it's Ashley for Freeaim VR. Ashley, your 5 minutes start now.
Hi and welcome everybody. I'd like to introduce my startup, Freeaim VR. The Freeaim VR footwear project is a serious effort to develop a compact and low-cost VR locomotion system that provides a natural and realistic experience. Who is Freeaim VR? A self-funding startup based in the UK, looking for a pre-seed funding or an incubator. What is the product? It's a locomotion system for VR, a way of limitless walking while actually staying within a confined area. How does it work? It uses motors to counteract the user's actual movement. It senses their speed and distance. Each VR shoe communicates using a Bluetooth network. The VR shoes are entirely 3D printed, except for nuts, bolts, electronics, motors, etc. Next, I'd just like to show a video. So obviously, for most people should know, this is No Man's Sky.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. What? Okay, you have my full attention now.
Okay, so I'm just going to try and close that video. And a little bit about the development. Just another very quick video before I move on. Okay. So just 30 seconds here. This is how it started out. As you can see, wires trailing everywhere. Again, this was using a battery pack mounted on the waist. That's still an option, by the way. And then we sort of came to the sort of the more wireless. This is using Oculus Link over a cable, but it is actually a wireless system using Bluetooth at this point. Not a lot of time, so I'm just going to pause that video there. So as you can see, just down here in the left-hand corner, this is the current version here. The VR shoe articulates in the middle to allow for a more natural movement. And I'm just going to come over here. And there we go. So a little bit about the specifications for these footwear locomotion system. It will support a fast walk of at least 1.2 meters per second. And the aim is to have a fully omnidirectional version which supports sidestepping. It provides a very natural walking experience with stable movement without harnesses. Built-in positional tracking and positional correction to keep the users inside a small play area of just 1.2 by 1.2 meters. It's currently compatible with OpenVR and Steam VR, but I plan to support, if possible, Oculus Quest and OpenXR. It's wireless, compact, and easily storable. It's lightweight. It only weighs 1 kilogram per foot, including batteries. It's low cost, around 400 to 500 US dollars, depending on if any kind of mandatory safety features need to be incorporated, like a barrier. And it will provide at least 2 hours of use with a built-in battery, or more with an additional waist-mounted battery. So as you can see here, this is the current prototype. That's the actual size, a 1-to-1. And over here, this is the current prototype that's in development, or rather the next prototype that's in development. This supports the omnidirectional movement. And as you can see, it supports forwards, backwards, positional correction, and sidestepping. And finally, into my last slide. What are the next steps for Freeaim VR? We're seeking funding and grants to hire people to take this product to the next level. So software engineer, mechanical engineer, business development manager. I will be continuing to develop the prototypes, adding key features such as positional correction, enabling turning in game using body position, using IMU data that's currently in development. And along the way, improve performance, reliability, comfort, and finally, trying to increase awareness. And when I can, I want to get other people to try it out in real life and get more feedback. And that's it, guys.
Okay, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool, Ashley. I'm impressed. When I just saw this video, I thought like, wow, that's so cool. That's basically what I've been dreaming of, some shoes where you can walk. So first of all, I want to ask you, Ashley, how much funding are you looking for now?
Honestly, that's a difficult question. Probably more than 20,000 and probably less than 100,000 pounds, euros.
Yep, whatever
that
works.
That puts you, that puts you comfortably in like a friends and family round, right? So from a traditional investment angle, that sounds even like pre-seed funding, because the logic is kind of, well, if you can't win your friends and family to believe in you, then how are you ever going to convince an investor? So are you probably looking for venture capital, like traditional institutional investment, or more of an incubator angel kind of thing?
I mean, friends and family sounds great, but I don't have friends and family that could offer me 100,000. But certainly, an incubator or an angel investor is probably something that I'd be looking for. Like I said, my main goal is to hire a few people and get a small premises somewhere for us to work. A little bit of capital expenditure for 3D printers and things like that. But really, that's what's needed at this stage.
Right. Yeah, it sounds perfect for an incubator, really, or like an angel investor who puts in like 50 or 100,000. I see a lot of promise in this, and I also see like lots of hurdles to cross, because it looks like you could easily like fall down, perhaps. Can you tell us a bit more about the risks for this?
I've never fallen down. I mean, this is coming from me. You have to believe me. I've never fallen over. It is very stable. It's very natural. The VR shoes are very low profile, so it's not like standing on heels. You actually have a really good sort of grounding when you're walking. You don't feel like you're going to rock or tip over or anything. It's very stable like that. There is a lot of hurdles. I'm not ignorant to that. And there may be some sort of mandatory safety things that we need to do, such as a kind of fold-away barrier to put around the user. And you also stop like, pets and rabbits and cats or whatever you might have from sort of encroaching into an area. So, that's why I mentioned that the kind of price depends on kind of the regulatory aspect and what kind of safety features we will need to add.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
I still have one question. When you're saying it's stable and it feels natural, which other omnidirectional treadmills have you used personally that you're comparing this with?
The truth is, I haven't actually. I tried to make it to an expo, a convention, to try out some slide mills, and that was like cancelled because of COVID. So, and actually, truth be told, most of this work has been done during the COVID era, and so I haven't actually been able to get to try any of the kind of other locomotion solutions. But I'm well aware of what's in the market, and
Ashley, would you allow me to try it? Would you send it over to MRTV? I would love to try it.
Yeah, I think I can. It might take a while.
Okay.
But you might need to give me a a month or so to sort one out.
No problem, no problem.
But
sure.
yeah, I think that's definitely something I could do.
Okay, so this will work together with the Steam VR games, or how about compatibility? My last question.
It's exactly that. Some games just kind of work out the box. Some need, to kind of configure the profiles, the kind of controller profiles. But, most of the games like No Man's Sky, Fallout 4, they just work out of the box with the system. The movement is basically configured as a joystick input at the moment.
Okay, wow, very cool. Dominic, do you have any question left?
My only question left would be: are you thinking this more of a consumer product or more of a business product?
Definitely consumer. It's always been my goal from the start. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to dismiss business to business, training and simulation, but my goal from the outset was to, create something low cost, compact. I mean, a lot of people don't want to buy, big, expensive, large, motorized platforms or slide mills. It's, it's not accessible for enough people.
That's exactly the reason why Virtuix and Infinitec and others, they completely dropped the consumer market more or less, because they realized that it's too big, too expensive, too loud. But it's not too big, too expensive, too loud for a place like a family entertainment center or a VR arcade, where somebody could expend those costs by selling time on the device as tickets. So
right,
it's great to see that somebody's pushing this into consumer space.
It's cool.
Great.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah,
I'm aware of the market trends, but I'm not trying to follow that. I'm trying to do my own thing here. And
very nice.
This is why I believe it. This is what I believe in. This is what I think is the future. It's a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. But
it's very cool.
Definitely.
Cool.
Thank you.
I still have one short question. Sorry. How fast can you go with this? Just very, very short answer.
Yeah. So it's a fast walk at the moment.
Okay.
And like when you're actually using it in game, you feel like you're going faster, and you can adjust that.
Okay.
You can adjust the kind of the scaling to move faster or slower in the game. But for safety purposes, I've experimented with going faster, and it's just not safe at the moment. Maybe with a few more years of development, but this
looks already very cool. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you so much. And everyone who wants to get in touch with Ashley, all the email addresses are down in the description of this video. Thank you, Ashley. And bye-bye.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, MRTV.
And our next startup, it's Immersive Matthew with Into the Metaverse. Immersive Matthew, your 5 minutes start now.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Sebastian, and thanks very much, XR Week, for this opportunity. My name is Matthew Lynch. Next slide. And I'm also known as Immersive Matthew in the interwebs. Next. I am a 26-year IT consultant. You can find me on LinkedIn. My address is right there. Next. I also a creator of one of the very first VR video cameras back in 2014. And if you've ever downloaded SLR, then you've probably seen some of the content that camera had the pleasure of making. Next. And I'm also the founder of a YouTube channel called Metaverse Adventures. And I went pretty hard at it a year ago when Oculus Quest, 2 years ago almost now, when the Oculus Quest came out. But about a year ago from here, I decided that I actually wanted to get into VR development, not just talking about VR. Next slide. I am based out of Vancouver, Canada. Next. And I also spent some time over in Vietnam, where my wife is from. So I'm going to have kind of two locations I'm going to be centered at. And today I'm talking to you about Into the Metaverse, which is next an immersive dark ride for the Oculus Quest and other VR headsets. And it's what I put in the edutainment category today. It tells the story of humanity's quest for ever deeper immersion, telling stories all the way from the fire 200,000 years ago, to cave paintings, to theater, to computers, to games, to VRs coming out, and what that might look like as we go into the future. And some pretty cool scenes. Next. The ride is going to be about 32 scenes in total, and it's going to run for 25 to 35 minutes. Next, and today it is a 8 scenes and a 10-minute, very, very polished pilot that you can try right now. Links are going to be provided somewhere. I'm not sure where, Sebastian, but somewhere below there's a link you can go and download on SideQuest.
Right.
And pretty soon it's going to be an app lab as well. So when that happens, I'll make an announcement on Reddit and the other places about that availability. Next. And you can always head over to metaverseadventures.com. There's links to the ride installed there as well. And there's also stats for geeks for those who want to learn more about the ride. Next. Really quickly, there's a bit of dark ride history to kind of level set. What is a dark ride? Next. It is really any vehicle that kind of goes through a guided scene. There used to be boats way back in the days, you can see here. And this is going back to like the late 1800s. So this is a very old technology, and it really captured a lot of people's imagination because they hadn't seen anything like this before. Next. But it was actually until, oh, that was too many slides. Back up. It wasn't until the 1920s when, down one more. Okay, it wasn't until the actually, go up one, I got messed up, that's too bad. Right, 18, next. Okay, and then next, this is not working out very well, I'm sorry guys. A trip to the moon in 1901 was the very first electric immersive dark ride. And it started the industry, basically. Up to that point, they were all boats and being pushed by manual. And when electric came, with electric lights and all that, it really took off. Next. So much so that that one ride in the first year had 400,000 people riding it, which back then was at only 50 cents each, but that translates to $15 today. So people were paying pretty big money to experience a dark ride, even back in 1901. Next. And then in the 1920s, they really took off. Next. And you probably recognize this picture on the right. That's your sort of common, everyday, fair dark ride. And there are literally hundreds of these things all around the world. And it just blew up. But it really wasn't until the 1960s, next, when Disney came along with their Imagineers and took that format and really amped it up into what's considered the modern dark ride that we have today. And that was Adventures Through Inner Space in 1967. That was my actual very first dark ride experience, and it blew my 6-year-old's mind. And you may recognize the ride vehicles, the Doom buggies that look like, but actually the Haunted Mansion was based off of this ride technology, not the other way around. Next. And so the real point is that dark rides really pull the crowds. Next, let's do a whole bunch of next to the very end. Keep going, the Haunted Mansion, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Amazing Spider-Man, Journey into Your Imagination, Spaceship Earth was one of my favorites, and Horizons. These are just some of the dark rides, and you probably know at least a few of these names, or you've probably even read of them. They're very, very popular around the world. Next. So what about the dark rides? How big is this market? And the question is for VR, I don't really know. Next. But what I can tell you is that next, that rides like Epic Roller Coaster, which you can see here, this is the Oculus Quest top downloaded apps, and it's right in there. So there's definitely seems to be some demand for these sort of experiences. Next. Next. So what is a little bit more into the metaverse? Next. It's been developed over the past year. Next. Just do all of them out to the bottom. Collaborate with another developer to create a Lighthouse in situ animation tool. That's what I'm wearing here in the photo. Literally, I go into a character in my ride. I take over their body with 11 tracking points, and I'll literally act out the scene that you see in the ride. In fact, every character in the ride, and there's 57 characters in the ride, all of them is actually me wearing this rig and acting out their role. And I actually do it in the very spot that they're going to be then later on in the ride. And I can even interact with objects. I can pick things up and put them down. It's really quite an amazing piece of technology. We've also developed a load, 30 seconds. We also developed a load-free screen system. So during the entire ride, you never see a load screen, which was really, really hard on the Oculus Quest. And in fact, Oculus says it can't even be done. So we accomplished that. It has, like I said, 57 humans in there, 20 creatures, hundreds of sounds, 177 sensors, 300 meters, 1,000 feet of track. And when I share these stats, because I didn't realize until I looked them up, that it's as big as a ride like the Haunted Mansion in terms of scope. as it is even today, which is pretty cool. So it's a really cool experience. Next. So my big ask, next. No, next. I'm not sure. There we go. Next. Okay. So why am I pitching today? It's really, I'm launching a Kickstarter campaign very soon. And I'm looking for people, A, to be affiliate marketers of the Kickstarter, so you can actually make money pitching my ride to people. If they go into Kickstarter and sponsor, you're going to get a small cut of that. I'm also looking for ride sponsors who are interested in marketing their brand in virtual reality. So if you've been to any Disney theme park, you know that some of the rides have corporate sponsors. And maybe towards the end, there's a cool little scene that you're already emotionally wrapped up in the ride and you presented a product. So there's an opportunity for someone to jump into my ride and do that. I'm also looking for integrating some sort of motion seat or simulator, something like the yaw. Next. Also, I'm looking for clients who maybe have some IP that they want to make a dark ride. I have the technology end to end, and so I can make pretty much anything. So if you've got a cool IP, let's talk. Next. And I'm looking for those who have a blockchain technology where I can put my ride out there in the metaverse and make money off it, make cryptocurrency off of it. So looking for not only traditional channels like the Oculus Store and Steam VR, but I'm also looking for alternate stores as well. So that's my ask, and that's why I'm really here today, is these items. So if you've got something on there that maybe you would like to participate in, please give me an email and contact me at immersive.matthew at metaverse-adventures.com. Okay, next.
All right.
And it's bigger than that. I have 3 more rides I've already got planned: the Haunted Mansion, Jungle Jam, and Into the Microcosmos. These are all dark rides that are on the horizon. And the last slide is the big picture is I'd like to be part of this industry, wherever it's going. I hope that my rides are featured at virtual theme parks that we all know are going to come eventually. There's going to be plenty of these all around cities across the world. And I hope that my rides get to be a part of that experience as well. So home use and for arcades.
All right. Okay. Matthew, thank you so much for your pitch. Yep, you took a bit longer, so we have to cut the question answer a bit short. Dominic, do you have a question for Matthew?
Yeah, I would have loved to learn a little bit more about the Kickstarter, but now the only thing that I'm really interested in is how does blockchain fit into all of this? You want to make a ride in a place like Decentraland or Crypto Voxels, and then people pay cryptocurrency for tickets, essentially.
That's right. Yeah. I want to start to explore that as an option for myself. And not the main one, because obviously it's not there yet, but I do want to get early in and have all my rides out in that space.
And then what is your primary platform that you want to put this out on?
Well, the whole ride is being designed for the Oculus Quest, from the Oculus Quest 1 and 2. And so that's where it's going to go first, as well as Steam VR.
Cool. Yeah, cool, Matthew. I actually really enjoyed the pitch, and I enjoyed these rides in these kind of places. So it's cool that I can have it soon on my Quest. So how expensive is this going to be?
It's expensive to do. So far to get to this point, because of the dark rides, because of the amount of assets you need, and the amount of characters, there's a lot of cost to buy a lot of the assets and the art. I've had to hire people to do this. So to finish this ride off, it's you're in tens and tens of thousands of dollars to finish it.
Okay, you have already invested this kind of money.
What's that?
Okay, and you've already invested all this money now. Okay, so my question was for the consumer: how expensive is the app going to be on the Quest 2?
Yeah, we haven't come up with an exact price yet, but somewhere in the neighborhood, maybe for one ride, it'd be like $5, and eventually when there's going to be hopefully a pack of rides for like 15 or something like that. It's in that zone.
Cool. All right, and the people can try it out right now on the app for free, right?
That's right. And the feedback on the pilot, the 10-minute pilot, is really quite overwhelming. People are really come out of there feeling like, wow, that was an immersive experience. It's very detailed. There's a lot going on in there. I really try to make it at the level of a Disney ride in terms of how much is going on, the music, the sounds, the audio animatronics that are interacting. And they're very realistic looking characters because they're all mocapped with Lighthouse, actually, believe it or not.
Great. And also Dominic asked about the Kickstarter. In the Kickstarter, what will be people be able to buy, like the ride themselves, or what will they?
Yeah,
be able
there's going to be different levels. I haven't got them all flushed out yet, but there's going to be things like just buying the app and getting a copy of it, all the way through to having your name somewhere in the ride, all the way through to your physical face and character being one of the characters somewhere within the ride. So I've got a bunch of seats for people to digitize themselves forever in this sort of space. Okay. And all the way up to a full ride sponsor. I really hope there's some company out there who wants to throw a few, 10, 30 grand at me and say, hey, put our brand in, build us a really cool scene at the end, and that'd be a great way to reach our customers. Surely someone's going to want to do it. If not today, I really do think, based on people's reaction to this ride, that there's actually a genre in VR waiting to happen for dark rides. Because not everyone wants to do full room scale all the time. Sometimes you just want to sit back and to be taken on a really cool journey.
I think it's a great idea for beginners, for VR beginners. Some kids who you put this on or something. And also your idea with blockchain, I think it's a good idea. Probably you should speak with Somnium Space. Right?
Yeah, everything
is based on blockchain. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. The only app that will run anything like this is Somnium Space, because CryptoVoxels in Decentraland, for example, they have such a harsh limit in terms of how many polygons you can use. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the future of this, eh? Looks good.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much.
Like, no matter what, even if the Kickstarter isn't successful, I'm committed to finishing the ride because I really do believe in this very deeply.
Yeah,
I love riding
Thank you so much for. Yeah, I will try to. Matthew, thank you so much for pitching today, and for all the people who want to get in touch with Matthew. All the links are down in the description of this video. So, thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.
See ya. And the next startup, it's Jack Chaser with VR Wire. Jack, your 5 minutes starts now.
Awesome. Thank you, Sebastian. And again, thank you for organizing this. This is a really great opportunity for a small company like ours to showcase what I've been working on last year. Now, the idea for this came about last year after I tried the Oculus Quest first version, and I just had a hard time going back to a wired headset. But I really wanted the high resolutions and refresh rates, and I spent countless hours just trying every single configuration out there for a cable management system, and I finally stumbled upon this setup that really makes it feel almost wireless. And at that point, I knew I had to kind of share this design and a product with everyone. So I wanted to play a quick demo video how it works before I go through these 6 points to get a better idea for people. Otherwise, this might not make complete sense. You can see here, the video has been sped up about 200%, but it really takes very little time to set up. You just have these 2 wires across your ceiling, and so it's been about 25 seconds here. So it takes about a minute in real life to set up once everything is figured out. And you can see here that I can move side to side across the play space, and it has a dynamic retractor that follows me all across my play space. And also with that pulley wheel, you can move up and down the play space, and the VR cable just goes right through there. So that's what really creates the no cable tag in this whole system. You see here moving quickly side to side, and it just moves with me. The other benefit of this is people that have ceiling fans, there's a little extension coil that I'm putting on right now, and the ceiling fan can go right in the middle. So you can actually get the wire underneath the ceiling fan, and you get the same experience. You can do 360 turns all the way at the edges of the play space. And my favorite part, because I do my VR in the living room, is how quickly it is to put away. So you see here, it just takes a minute, to put away, pull these off the wires and then the main retractor. And you have your living room back when you have people over. So to go through it really quickly, to sum it up, you get effortless 360 turns all around your play space. It feels almost wireless in 8 by 8 foot play space. The one thing that I didn't mention yet is that it really reduces the potential for cable damage because the VR cable moves through that little pulley wheel, it can twist over a longer range. So it's not held in place right above you. So it helps with that. And works on the ceiling fans, and it's play and put away for a clean look. So I like that. That's probably my favorite part of it as well. And we had some really great reviews. This is a quick video from Jay Bratt and his channel.
That is honestly really freaking cool. This is exactly what I've been imagining when it comes to the best kind of cable management system you could make. It is a little complicated to set it up, but the fact that you can move around your room scale freely and it just follows you all around the room, and even with a big light, it's low enough under it that it's not gonna get in the way of that and get in trouble. I am much more impressed with this than I thought I was gonna be. This is actually a really
I think he was pretty surprised.
So center my play space here, right?
And this is Holden Riot.
Even 1.5 steps.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, no, I have it again. Okay.
I can literally walk into my computer monitor. I need to make sure I have my boundaries set up because there's no tug. Previously with the Keyboard Design V2, I would take 1 or 2 steps forward and I would be feeling the tug on the back of my head. I don't have that at all with the VR Wire. So that alone is incredible. It feels completely wireless. I'm gonna go ahead and walk to the front of my computer spot here and basically do a full 180. All right, I didn't run into my wire, which is the whole point. It feels completely wireless experience. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I love seeing these reviews because it really makes me feel like I didn't waste all of 2020 working on this. So yeah, to sum it up, again, thanks a lot for organizing this, and this is really amazing if I get to meet you and pitch my product that I spent the last year working on, and it's ready to go. We've already been selling it for several months now, so far everything has been really good. So yeah.
Congratulations, man. Very, very nice pitch, right, Dominic? What do you think?
It was really good. Did I understand correctly that you're already selling this?
Yeah. We have all the parts I've been putting together and shipping it out for the last 3 months. We had the version 1 that was selling at the end of last year. That was just part of this system, just the main thing. I thought it would be okay, but it wasn't good enough. So then I spent a lot of time trying to make it much better and tried everything, and finally got all the parts, started putting together, and we've been selling it since March, I want to say, or mid-February actually. Yeah. So yeah.
And how much does it cost?
It's $39.95, which might seem like a lot, but it's really not if you take into account all the parts. Like all the parts.
No, actually, it sounds a bit too cheap from a business standpoint.
Yeah, that's the thing.
What are you saying?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, we at Eden we have a lot of background with making hardware, right? And for $39.95, are you even making a profit off of this?
We weren't. When we were trying to do the advertising, we weren't really making a profit. But I feel like once people learned about it and people have been buying it without the ads, then we started making a profit. We had like the first profitable month last month, I want to say. But some people have told me actually they really liked it. They said they should sell for like 60, but no one knows about it yet. So I feel like once people know about it then I don't have to do the ads, and it'll be enough profit for me. So.
Jack, people know about it now, and I'm telling you from a business standpoint, and I'm sure people are going to hate me now for that. You should raise the price to $69 now, because this is way too cheap. Because you won't be making enough profit to be sustainable on the long run if you want to go for the next product. So I
tend to agree. I mean, especially you're targeting this towards a PC VR crowd, right? The cable crowd. Nobody else with a Quest Newton has to use this. So you're looking already at an initial investment of what's an HP Reverb, $500.
$600. Exactly.
If you go to a Valve Index, which this would be perfect for, you're looking at people who spend 1,000 or over 1,000 euros for the headset itself. So for them paying $70 for a good cable solution. I'm surprised I haven't heard of this. Have you done a review of this?
No, I haven't heard of it too. So thanks to Pitch MRTV, we hear about it now. Yeah.
Send him the device, man.
Yeah, I'm going to review this, man.
All right, I'll ship one over to you. But that's the thing. I felt like the same way, when I was developing it. I thought maybe I could make it like 59 or something. But, after a while, we just didn't have any sales at first. The only people at first that bought from us were the people that bought the original one. And then we like upgraded them. And then we only had like a couple sales every couple days. So I just didn't want to raise the price at that point. So.
Now your life is going to change, man. Jack, I'm going to buy one. You don't even have to send it to me for free. Hey, I also want to know. How do you attach this to the wall? Is it like self-adhesive, or would you have to drill something into the wall?
So you can have both, right? So the main retracting unit, that's probably not like the main feature, I would say. If you have a smaller play space, you can probably even not necessarily need it. But the way that attaches, you have a command strip. And have you seen command strips?
No. So
it's like an adhesive that you can use, and then you can pull on it, and then it comes off easily. And that's something that I know. Yeah. So that's a must, because I kind of ruined my ceilings and I had to repaint after doing all the testing. But you can also screw it into the wall with the screws if the command strips are not good enough. But they've been good enough, for me. So so the way that it attaches to the ceiling now, you got these monkey hooks. And these are for drywall. So a lot of ceilings they're basically have you put it through the ceiling, and all you have is a little tip that sticks out. So you can't even see it on the ceiling, really. And the reason we went with those is because those adhesive hooks that everyone uses, they just ruin your ceiling when you remove them. You end up with like a square patch on your ceiling that just you just can't remove them, even with like a hairdryer. But with these ones, you remove, and it's a small pinhole, and then we have a link to this.
Okay. Now I don't have any sound anymore.
This is the first time we're having this. Yeah. The first time we're having this. But I think we're at the end already. I mean, this is a great product. I don't have any questions about it. This was absolutely great. Jack, even if you can't hear us anymore, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And he's gone. Okay. And the 5 minutes over. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to put all the links down in the description. Cool product, right, Dominic? And
definitely.
Let's go to the next pitch.
Let's see the next one.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, and the last startup tonight, it's Dr. Andy Edmonds. Andy with Thinkbase. Andy, your 5 minutes start now.
Thank you. Okay, so as you've heard, I'm Dr. Andy Edmonds from Dr. Andy's IP. That's my email address if you want to contact me. What we do? Well, we are an AI company, and we have unique intellectual property and knowledge graphs, natural language processing, and AI. And we've got this product called Thinkbase, which is a graphical knowledge graph editor and inference engine. And over here on the left, you can see the 2D user interface for it. So you basically describe knowledge by using nodes and connections and rules and such like. And you can interrogate the knowledge graph by using an interface like the one on the right, which is a chat interface. So you can actually dynamically use these networks. The way that we're different is our kind of AI is ethical. Our AI systems can explain how they work, can explain how a decision was made, and this is now very important in the EU. I know the UK has left the EU, but the UK and US are wandering off in a different direction with AI, whereas the EU is getting very concerned with the ethics of AI, and this Artificial Intelligence Act will be produced soon, and this AI will work with that act. So you can create models by hand using our DAL language and building these networks. Or you can machine learn models as well. So we've been doing this for a very long time. You can create machine learn models directly from data and create networks out of them. So how you can use this stuff, you can integrate Thinkbase into your apps using our GraphQL software as a service system, which you can find at dal.dev. You can create chatbot interfaces using the Microsoft Bot Framework, license our code using Docker or NuGet packages for .NET. And customers have included political lobbyists, EdTech, music industry, education, primary schools, healthcare, We've done some lifestyle medicine work, and historians for historical reasoning in time using knowledge graphs. A really interesting application. So what's that got to do with virtual reality? Well, to make ethical AI that's intelligible, you need a really good user interface. And unfortunately, once networks get big, and this is an example of a network 1,700 nodes, this, in fact, is the entire primary maths curriculum for the UK from the years 7 to 11, all represented as one massive knowledge graph, but it's completely unintelligible. Whereas over here, we've got an active one running up to the left, is the same graph, but something you can now fly through, you can interact with, you can click on the nodes, and you can understand far more about it. So what we're trying to do going forward is text-heavy interfaces are easy in 2D, but difficult in virtual reality, that's for sure. Since we've already got chat interfaces running with our Thinkbase knowledge graph systems, we're going to be adding simple chat interactions as much as possible. So clicks on choices, numbers and short text. So we're going to make it possible to build your network using an interface that works in VR using chat. And over here to the right, you can see running one of our example chat interfaces with a whole bunch of choices. So hang on, shaky hand syndrome. Right, so who we are? Well, I'm Dr. Andy Edmonds, got 34 years in AI. Seriously, I started Europe's first AI company in 1987, which had the first data mining tool for Windows and DOS, world's first GP, that's genetic programming-based financial trading system. First fintech companies. I was once upon a time a CEO of a publicly traded US company. My partner is also my wife, Annika Edmonds. She's got 20 years in tech marketing, senior lecturer in all these things, a chartered marketer, and fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. And what we want out of this, shake hand syndrome again, partners. What we want startups to add intelligence to their virtual reality products using Thinkbase. Applications can be any kind of professional service or product, but we found law, education, health, or whatever are easy wins in that you can easily take knowledge in those areas and turn them into applications that you can actually use, chat interfaces and such like. But we'd also like to hear from companies with virtual reality, augmented reality skills, because you might well want to tie up with us and help us develop this, or think of a product that uses both these things that will give us a mutual benefit. You can contact us, Andy at Dahl.ai or sales at Dahl.ai, and these are our websites that you can go to see the various things. This, for instance, is available on the website, right, but interactive, and everything else you can read about.
All right, that's it?
Yep.
Perfect. That's probably the first pitch who made it perfectly in time. Andy.
I've been practicing.
We're here. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Here. Andy, can you see us here?
Yep, sure. Hold on. Let me turn around. Hi.
Yes, exactly here.
Yeah,
hi.
wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
So,
yeah. So, thank you for your pitch. And you are so into that for you it's totally understandable, but for us outside it might not be as easy to understand what actually this is. So what kind of intelligence can you provide to AR and VR products? Like, give us an example perhaps.
Well, it's the kind of stuff we specialize in is high level. When people think of AI, they often think of recognizing patterns, recognizing shapes, recognizing faces, dogs and cats and those kind of things. What we're interested in is the higher level AI, which you might, for instance, for games, that might be, for a game, it might be a rules engine. The applications that we've had running are, for instance, that EdTech application. You can literally take the entire curriculum of the primary school maths interactively via a chatbot using that system.
Oh, cool.
And so it's the ability to encapsulate and encode really quite complicated things that have rules embedded in them, and to make those available to people fairly simply. So AI is an incredibly complicated subject. We're trying to make it as simple as possible through design, basically, through a design that's very easy to use, both a visual design and an internal design.
Okay, cool. So
it's less for visualizing. Sorry, it's less for visualizing the actual graphs. It's more for more intelligent NPCs, for example. Would that be an example of your technology in a VR game? NPC meaning a character you're meeting.
Oh yes, sure. That's the kind of thing that you could most certainly encode. And the reason for having the virtual reality stuff is because you can then fly up to a particular node and modify it rather than trying to find it in the mess that a 2D world gives you. Yeah, so you can actually get in there and get close to something and edit it. Whereas finding nodes in 1,700 nodes and making sense of how they relate one to another is very difficult. So this is why VR is really quite a vital ingredient towards building this kind of user-friendly AI that explains itself.
Got it.
Is that in one sentence? Is that you can step into your code? Does that make sense? Kind of.
Yes, or you can step into the structure of the knowledge because it isn't really code. It's at a higher level than that. Yeah,
gotcha.
You can step into the structure of the knowledge.
Of the knowledge.
Wow, Dominic, that's already the perfect elevator pitch that you're giving Andy here. Nice. This is not only for VR and AR programs, right? This is basically any app that makes use of artificial intelligence and who needs to program it, they can make use of that interface that you put into VR, right? To make it easier for people to access. Is that correct?
That's right, yes. So VR is a sort of helping tool, very much like, that in biotech, VR is often used as a way of understanding the way that molecules fold and unfold, for instance. It's exactly the same thing. We've got an external problem that VR helps us to solve. But it extends the range of things that you can do in VR to subjects that are, hopefully quite serious and quite interesting.
Wow. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So now you're looking for people who actually use your program, right? Or are you looking for funding?
Funding's always nice, but really users is the critical thing. I always believe in growing something organically if I possibly can. And users are the best possible way because you get feedback, you get understanding of what's wrong with your product, what might be better, and so on.
All right. Do you have any more questions, Dominic?
I would just love to know what AI was like in 1987 because I just recently watched. I just recently watched Steve Jobs's unveiling of the Macintosh, which was in 1984, and people were mind blown about the fact that you can do like paint, like Mac Paint on it. So that was mind-blowing at the time. So 3 years after that, what was AI like in 1987?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is it was hard to persuade people, of course. I was mostly talking to really big companies. But exactly the same problems arose then as arise now. People were very concerned about using neural nets because they're black boxes. That's what we had at the time, because they couldn't explain the decisions they were making. So we were doing things like predicting the future price of stocks and shares. And we were actually working with companies like Reuters doing that. And they were saying, well, how do we know that your predictions are really good? How do we take this black box apart and work out how it's functioning? And that was a big problem for them back in 1987, 1990. And it's still the big question now. We use AI, but it does all these strange things sometimes. How do we know why? And how do we fix that?
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Andy. Super interesting. Absolutely interesting. Thank you for your great pitch, Andy. And all the best to your company.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Wow. 10 pitches. Dominic, what's your feeling after those 10 pitches?
I mean, it's a long time in virtual reality, but I do have to say, I mean, we're not making a winner today of this, right? We're probably gonna talk about what we liked and what we didn't like. Exactly. But the clear winner for me is virtual reality in this case. The spatial app made your pitch marathon really so nice to go through. We just jumped from room to room. We saw many different people, many different faces. It was really, really great to see that.
Right. It worked so well. I'm also really fascinated how well this, I believe this is the very first XR startup pitch event in virtual reality. And I'm fascinated how well that worked. I loved it. And I really also loved the startups. I think it's amazing what they've shown us. Is there any startup that you want to point out? I mean, there's really so many. It's tough to point out like one or two or three, but
for me,
what's in your mind?
It's really crazy. The biggest, let's just say, the biggest surprise for me was VR Wire. I mean, the fact that there's a lot of people out there who are fighting with cables, right? Like cables are an annoyance, and they have been ever since PC VR came around. And knowing that there's a solution that they're selling for a very, very affordable price, and it's out on the market, that was definitely good. And in terms of pitches that I liked, I really liked Kevin from Lanex.
Right, Lanex, yeah, right, me too. That was a great pitch.
I thought he had a very concise pitch. Like it was very compact. It explained the most important things. He had a great answer to my question, which I found really, really important to see the expression, the mouth expression while learning a language. And he says, well, facial tracking is coming up, which we saw in DecaGear. So it was great. He was spot on. How about you?
Absolutely.
What did you like?
Oh man, I was really surprised by so many things, honestly speaking. But what really caught me by surprise, and you saw it probably, or you heard it when it was pitching, was the Freeaim, the shoes. Yeah. The shoes. I was really surprised to see that it worked so well. Because yes, I know that's something that people dream of making, but actually that some guy has made it and it works. And he's just one guy, I believe, doing it at his home. I was really surprised. What do you think of that?
I was also, I've seen similar concepts like that. And the fact that he hadn't tried any of his competitors, right? Virtuix or Infinitec or others.
Right.
I mean, I would say competition research is very, very important for a startup. We spend a lot of time at Eden doing that, like looking at other people who are in our field. What do they do better? What do they do worse? How can we set ourselves apart from the mass, which is very important in VR and startups in general as well. So from that angle, that made me a little bit cautious, but the actual device looks promising, I would say. Definitely more promising than sliding dishes or huge moving omnidirectional treadmills, if you ask me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I think lots of things were really amazing. So I cannot even point out one or two or three. So many. It was quite a lot, right? 10. I'm really happy that for this first episode of Pitch MRTV, we got 10 startups who made this. And you know what? I really like this concept. I really want to make this into a series. This cannot be a one-off thing. This must become like an episode of lots of episodes of Pitch MRTV, because it gives startups simply a chance to pitch their startup. Yeah. We don't have this so much, right?
Absolutely. I mean, especially during the pandemic, I mean, real pitches aren't really happening. So I think you're helping the community and those young startups actually a lot by giving them an opportunity to present their baby to the world, sometimes for the first time, which is a huge thing for anybody working in his basement, slaving away hours trying to make their vision happening. So you giving them that exposure is great. I do have to say, though, some of them really have to work on what is called an elevator pitch, right? Within one sentence, what are you doing? And what is the benefit for your potential customers?
Exactly. I was also thinking that when I was watching the pitches, and then like 2 minutes in, I have no idea what's going on here. So you know what? I believe what is also very unique about Pitch MRTV is that these startups, they have not really pitched before. This is probably the first pitch that they ever have given. So therefore, I think they're really brave to come here and do it. And the pitches were not perfect. Not pitches that we've seen before from startups, right? But you know what? I think that's totally fine. I really think that's totally fine. And I believe that this is a learning process for them as well. And probably we're going to see some of them again. And now they know, okay, you have to in 5 minutes, you have to get to the point very soon. Like, right?
It's incredibly important. It's incredibly important. I mean, that's one of the big things that I learned in my time in Silicon Valley was that you're essentially always pitching, right? When your friend asks you, hey, what are you doing? How's your project going? At that moment, you can polish your pitch, and then things like this give people an opportunity. And I mean, to be honest, some pitches needed a little bit of refinement for sure, because it was their first time, and sometimes even their first time in virtual reality presenting something.
Right.
So, but that said, there were a couple of pitches that I think were really, really well done, especially for the short amount of time that you pulled all of this together. Huge respect, by the way. That was very well produced.
Thank you. And again, thanks for being here and for sitting through this for more than 2 hours. Thank you so much, Dominic.
My absolute really pleasure. Cool. If you ever want to make this a series, I'll be happy to come again. First, we got to launch Eden Snacker, which is going to take a little bit of our time, but I won't be there for the second episode probably. But for the third or fourth episode, if you would want to have me again, I would love to be here again. It was fantastic.
Of course, I want to have you here again, and I want your snacker. I want to show it here on the channel. So as soon as you have something to show, please show it to me, and I would love to feature it on the channel here.
I mean, I cannot say no to an invitation like that, obviously, with your audience and your knowledge. I mean, I would be very happy. Now that the world is reopening again, we can actually make that happen. We're not so far away, neither virtually right now, nor physically in the real world. So we can make it happen.
I think it's like 3 hours from Dortmund to Amsterdam. I love Amsterdam, so yeah, I can come over. You can come visit me in Dortmund as well. So we have to make this happen. Yeah, right. All right. And that's it for Pitch MRTV, the very first Extra Startup pitch event happening all in virtual reality. If you enjoyed this, please give this a big thumbs up. And of course, now we want to hear from you. Which pitch did you like the best? Which pitch do you want to point out you enjoyed a lot? And simply give us everything that is on your mind. I really do want to see your comments. And for sure, the startups also want to see your comments. Also, let me know if you want to see a second episode of Pitch MRTV. I suppose yes. And you know what? I will do it for sure. So if you are a startup and if you want to take part in the next Pitch MRTV, then do make a 1-minute pitch. And it can be simply a homemade video with your smartphone. It's totally fine. And send it to my email address. The link is down in the description of this video. And that's it. That was Pitch MRTV, brought to you by MRTV and the XR Week. And we are Dominic Escoffier, the head of Eden in Europe, and Sebastian Ang, founder of MRTV. Thank you. Bye-bye.